What is going on, friends? I hope you guys had a great weekend. Welcome to my channel. I'm super excited. I bet you guys are too, and that's probably why you're here because my favorite show, RHOA, the new season started, and this is season 15. This is a huge accomplishment. So, you already know I'm definitely gonna be reviewing this season. This season looks like it's gonna be so good. I feel like we've been lacking some things since, Portia left and then Cynthia left, and obviously we're always gonna miss Nene, but this season looked like it's gonna be lit. So I'm really excited to review this season, and we are on episode 1. And so we just gonna jump into this thing. So I got my notes. Let's just jump into it. All right, so the episode starts with my girl Sheree. Before we get started, Sheree is so fine. Like that, Sheree is in her 50s. I think she might be like 52 or 53. Like, I aspire to look like her. Sheree looks so good. When I am in my 50s, I want to look like her. And, she reminds me of me in the fact of, you can tell fitness is her lifestyle. I've been working out for over 13 years. I lift weights, I do cardio, I try to do the best with the eating, but Sheree got it going on. And so, I'm not her age, but once I am in that age bracket, I pray that I look like her because she is fine as hell. So I just had to say that. But yeah, so the episode starts out with Sheree. She's in her little She by Sheree, looking fine as hell. And I cannot believe, I'm surprised Martell Holt. And I think I've said this before. I watched Love and Marriage Huntsville. That's another one of my favorite reality shows. I have a love-hate relationship with Martell. It's like I root for him because I feel like deep down inside he's like a good guy. But he's a womanizer. But I love the way he loves his kids. He's such a good dad, and that is the element I like to see him with. But I'm surprised that they started the episode off with Martell. Martell comes over Sheree's house, suited and booted, looking casket sharp, looking really good. And, they come in and they're chatting. And let me just say this. I still don't know if I believe that the relationship is real, but I will say their dynamic was cute. Like, you can tell that they like each other. Like, I've never seen Sheree, like Sheree's all giddy and like all girly and just, kind of smitten. And you can kind of tell, I know enough about Martell through watching all the seasons of Love and Marriage Huntsville that he likes her too. So I'm on the fence with if I believe the relationship enough, because I believe, why is it every time I do this damn thing, there's an ambulance going by? Please excuse the ambulance. But, so I think that Martell is honestly still in love with Melody, which if you don't know who Melody is his ex-wife, who's also on Love and Marriage Huntsville. His relationship with Melody is contentious, but I still think he's in love with her. So that's why I don't know if I believe this Sheree thing. But nonetheless, their dynamic is cute. So I definitely noticed that. So they come over. He goes upstairs and changes. And Martell, you don't have to show us your drawers. Martell got his drawers out. He got his meat showing. They've been saying Martell got a little nice package. So his meat is definitely showing. So he does that. You already know Martell's body's banging too. That's why him and Sheree's fine. They probably have nice, little. They probably get it in. It's all greasy. Because they both so fine. So that's a little tape I would like to see if it leaks. But anyway, so yeah, he comes downstairs and Sheree has like a surprise for him. And it's someone's coming over to cook, and he's like, oh, I thought it was when the lady showed up. I thought you knew, trying to get a little three-way thing. And she's like, Nelly. I'm like, girl. But anyway, so they sit down and they're talking, and they immediately, they start discussing Kandi. And so Martell like feels away because like earlier last year, let me just say this. People be mad with Kandi, but Kandi just be telling what happens and people don't like it. And it's like Kandi, I guess, allegedly says that Martell, like his PR person set up like a date, you know, for a photo opportunity, and have paparazzi came, and it was like a setup date, it wasn't real, and that he did it in her restaurant Blaze. And I believe she called him like an opportunist, but that's kind of what it is. Like, you kind of, it's giving opportunist, Martell, but he didn't like that. So he's, you know, they're talking about it, and he's like, yeah, you know, the real opportunist is her husband, Todd. That narrative's so tired. I'm so tired of that narrative, y'all. So he's upset, which, you know, if you watch Love and Marriage, you know, Martell's a very sensitive person in general. He gets activated real quick. He be feeling away really fast. And so I'm not really surprised that he feels away about Kandi's comment. And of course, poor Todd, he's always like collateral damage. He always be catching the stray bullets. I know Todd be like, boy, what I had to do with it? In the words of Nene, now how I get in it? But he always is brought up when someone has a disagreement with Kandi, which is not fair. So I be feeling so bad for poor Todd. Todd be minding his business. He be chilling. He's quiet. He doesn't really get involved unless, you know, someone's disrespectful to Kandi, or unless someone brings him up. So yeah, I wish that would stop, but it's probably not. All right, so let me look at my notes. Okay, so then, you know, we see Kandi. She's at her office with the Kandi Coated Click, you know, with Juan and what's her friend's name? God, what is her friend's name? Juan and the one that got into with Mama Joyce, Carmen. So they're just catching up or whatever. You know, they're talking about, you know, whatever they talk about. And then, what did they talk? Oh, so they was talking about Sheree. We know what happened with Sheree, with She by Sheree, which Sheree, we're rooting for you. Regardless of what happened, I really like Sheree and I want her to be successful. But they're talking about how her, you know, her website crashed and everything. And then they're just like, you know, Kandi says like, well, Sheree's basically hard-headed. Like, I've tried to help her and she doesn't want to pay anybody. And she always just be like, well, I got it and whatever. So, you know, they're just kind of, you know, catching up on that. And then the Kandi Coated Click, Carmen, and Juan, they leave, and then Kenya and Monyetta come over, and they're chit-chatting for a little gossip session, right? And so, so they're chatting about Monyetta. I guess she's like the girl about town. She has all the little friends, and she introduces Kenya to some little, he didn't look like he was white. Some little like Mexican, whatever. He had a little spice to him. She introduces Kenya to him, and Kenya sees like I like him. Like, they've been hanging out and everything, which is nice because we all know that Kenya has gone through a lot with Mark with the nose ring. Mark's punk ass. So it's nice to see Kenya. I really enjoy Kenya. I like her a lot. Side note, her daughter's so cute, y'all. She got that little deep, little raspy voice. She is so sweet. Brooklyn is like so cute. I just want to squeeze her. I just had to say that because there was a scene when Kenya was with Brooklyn. We love some Brooklyn. But yeah. So I'm really happy to see that Kenya's dating. And she's kind of moving past Mark, because you could tell she really wanted to work with Mark. But Mark is like a punk ass, you know what. And so it's just good to see her moving forward. And so then they talk about Sheree. People really feeling a way about these spoofs that Kandi's doing. So, you know, Kandi's just talking about how Sheree was upset and kind of went on her social media and was kind of trying to shade her because of the spoof. Why are they getting them spoofs are funny as hell. Like, Kandi did one with Dr. Heavenly and Quad. That I was crying. It was hilarious because I watched that YouTube video with Funky Dineva, who is my absolute fave, and Dr. Heavenly and Quad. And like when I say Kandi nailed it, so yeah, Kandi spoofs are, they ain't got no sense of humor. They don't deserve comedy, like Amanda Seales said, because like I love to laugh. So even if it was something about me, if it's funny, I'm gonna laugh. So I just wish everybody would lighten up. But Kandi was just saying like, okay, Sheree didn't like the spoof, so she feels away and kind of, shaded her, which, that's Sheree. Sheree has the good shade, she has the good comebacks too. So it is what it is. So then they're talking about Sheree and they're like, well, I know somebody who's kicking it with Martell. So they're just like, is it real? Like, what's going on? Because my friends, homegirls, cousins, sisters, brothers, fiance, or whoever it is, she's also dating Martell or whatever. So that's what I'm saying. It's just too much stuff that's like coming out the woodwork. So I don't know if I believe this relationship with Sheree and Martell, because we know Martell's a ladies man. I think he dibbles and dabbles with his other son's mom, and then I feel like he's in love with. I think he's in love with Ariane and Melody. I feel like he's greedy, and so that's why I don't know if I believe this Sheree thing. But they're just saying like he's been around dating some other girls. So like, what's really going on? And then, so I didn't really like this part. I'm curious to what you guys think about this. Kenya says, well, just so y'all know, he's been in my DMs. And so they like, what? And then, Kenny's like, let me see the DM. And then, so she shows the DM, and you know how your DMs and Instagram, like you can kind of see a preview, you can accept it or not. So you could tell she hadn't accepted the message. But then when she goes to accept it to try to show Mayetta and Kandi, he deleted the message. So here's the thing. We don't know what it says. So I just don't think it's fair for Kenya to say he slid in my DMs, because that implies like he was trying to get at her. We don't know if he was doing that. So I mean, I know this is a show, but let's just say this relationship is real between Martell and Sheree. Unlikely, but let's just, let's just say it is, right? For argument's sake. You can like really mess that up, because we don't know if he slid in your DMs with the intention to like talk to you. So I didn't really like that, but everybody's up in arms. They're not surprised. And so we'll see how that kind of unravels a little later in the episode. All right. So then, briefly, Kandi's telling, well, I think Kenya said when she called Kandi earlier, she kind of heard Kandi and Todd arguing. And so Kandi's telling them what happened. So she basically says that Todd is kind of upset with her because there's something that he's trying to do, and he wants Kandi's support, and he feels like Kandi's not supporting him the way that he supports Kandi. I'll say this. I don't know the inner workings of what happens with them every day, but Kandi, Todd is very supportive of you, and it seems like pretty much everything he does revolves around supporting you. With the plays, it seems like he runs the restaurants, like several different things. And so if you're not being supportive of him when he needs you, you got to do better, Kandi, because that man really holds you down. And then, you have a lot going on, Kandi. So it seems like, when you're doing your escape stuff, he's with the kids. So I do agree that you should be better if you're not. I don't know y'all's relationship, but if you're not, Kandi, you should do better. So yeah, they're just, Kandi gets emotional, which I understand. Like, when she's upset, she was crying. And, Kenya's like, look, as someone who loves you, sisterly advice, try to be better and step it up. So I agree with that. So hopefully if Kandi and Todd haven't worked through that, they can, get through that. I'm sure they will, because you could tell they love each other. All right. So then, we go to Sonya, which I love Sonya's family. And, she's, with Ross, who I like her husband too. And he has a 40th birthday party, which everybody goes to later in the episode. And they're just kind of talking about the planning. I think a venue fell through. So she's just telling him what's going on. And then her family's in there. And then, so apparently, well, first of all, everybody lives with Sonya. Her mom, her dad, her sister's husband, they kids, her husband. So they got about 11 people in the house. And so Sonya's sister's name, which I don't know what her name is. Sonya's sister's husband is now Sonya's assistant. And so, Sonya's sister, they're talking. She's like, look, you don't really respect boundaries. I know my husband is your assistant, but you expect him to jump. And she was like, you did that with me when I used to do your hair. You just kind of think everything revolves around you. And I could see that. I mean, Sonya's been a star. She's an Olympian for so long. And so I'm just assuming maybe she's just become accustomed to people, just kind of catering to her and doing what she wants. And so her sister's kind of calling her out and just saying, look, everything doesn't revolve around you. You need to do better and back up off my husband. So, I'm assuming as the season goes on, we'll kind of see how that plays out. But, you are living with her. That doesn't mean she should take advantage of you, but it seems like obviously Sonya is the one bringing in the money. So, sis, of course, Sonya should do better with boundaries, but you don't have to hold your weight with her. You're staying in her house, your kids are there, so you're probably not paying nothing. So yeah. But anyway, so we'll I guess we'll see how that all unfolds. And then Candy is the next scene. She's which I love Candy's kids too. She's at the house, they're having dinner, and she wants to have family time. And then he's obviously working on a movie that he's writing a script for. So he's talking to one of the producers, and Candy's like, get off of the computer. We're supposed to have family time. And he's not really doing, he's trying to finish up whatever. And so she's upset. So I think that this season is evident. We're going to see probably the natural struggles that people that are married go through. But it's seeming like we're going to get a first row picture of, how Candy and Todd are navigating that. And they're kind of setting up scenes, with the conversation Candy had with the girls. And now at the table, it's evident that we're going to kind of see how they're working through some of the different issues that they're having in the relationship. So, which I enjoy because I love the way that Candy and Todd communicate. They have their things, but I feel like they're really good at bringing it back to center on what's important. And it could probably help all of us in our relationship. So I'm excited to see that. Okay. So then Marlo, which her nephews are so cute. They're having Taco Tuesday, which if you know me, I love me some Taco Tuesday, child. Why are Marlo's earrings so big? Y'all, them things are this big. Why? And it's okay, I know Marlo's the fashion girl. I love the big hoop. They say the bigger the hoop, the bigger the hole. But I'm not judging. That's just what they be saying. But why they so big, though? Those earrings are huge. I just had to point that. That's really all I got from Marlo for that scene because I couldn't concentrate because her earrings were so big. I love you, Marlo, and you fly as hell, but them earrings, I don't know how I feel about the earrings. I don't even really know what else was happening in that scene because I could not stop. I rewound it at least 5 times to look at those earrings. So that's all I got from Marlo, but we love her nephews. All right, so next we're at Sheree's house. And again, Sheree, whatever you're doing, keep doing your body. I can't. I'm mesmerized. Sheree has one of the best bodies that I've ever seen. Her body's amazing. And so Sonya comes over and they're kind of working out. Sonya's like, girl, I need a booty like you. Help me. And so that was cute. And then we're introduced to Courtney, who, you know how these introductions go. These girls that are friends of the show, outside of Monyetta, because I do think Monyetta is genuinely friends with Kandi. Courtney don't know Sheree, but whatever. Sheree's bringing her to the show, right? So they're talking, and then Courtney just gets right to it. And so I guess they're kind of like, well, who do you know? And so Courtney's talking about that. And then she's like, oh, well, yeah, well, you know, I have a little bit of an issue with Kandi because I heard she was calling around asking about me. And then somebody told me that she told them that I was saying that I knew her. And I'm like, this is dumb as hell. And I don't like to trivialize like people's feelings. But Courtney, girl, you came on this show and you're reaching, boo. Like, this is really stupid. Like, for real. You have an issue with Kandi because Kandi says she don't know you? What? She don't know you. Like, what? And then if you're coming on the show, yeah, like if I was on the show and I had a new person and heard, rufflings of a new person, I would want to be like, oh, well, who's this? I would make calls too. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's normal. They all probably do that. But I highly doubt that Kandi was upset because you were telling people that you know her. I think you put some extra sauce on that. Kandi probably was like, no, I don't know her like that. But I doubt that she was like, oh, I don't know her. And why is she telling people I know her? That ain't even Kandi. We know Kandi well enough to know that's not even her. You're being extra. And so what? She don't know you. Like, that wouldn't even bother. I would have probably joked with Kandi like, girl, you telling people that I was... I feel like it's all about your delivery, which, again, we'll get to, I don't want to skip ahead. But, yeah, I just felt like that was stupid. And I feel like, remember when LaToya came on to the show a few seasons ago, and she just came on just being extra for no reason, just, like, starting stuff for no reason? This is what Courtney's giving me, because this is stupid. Like, I'm not even gonna dignify it. You know how like I have a daughter, she's 8, and when she comes to me with like the arguments that her friends and her have at school, but then you have to pacify her because she's 8, but they be real stupid. Yeah, Courtney, but you're not 8. You're a grown ass woman, so like what? Anyway, so yeah, that's that. And so, where the hell's Drew? Side note, where is she at? Like, she was not in the episode. And then, again, we already kind of know how some of that fallout with her and Ralph is going to be, but I just thought that was interesting that she wasn't in the episode. So I like to do a little sidebar here and there, but where is she? Okay, so then we get to this party. There was a lot of stuff going on in this party, Ross's party. So the party's beautiful. You did good, Sonya, because them little weak-ass, whack-ass parties you had last season, you really redeemed yourself. The decor is beautiful. The venue was beautiful, so you did good. So we're at the party, and so everybody starts to arrive, and everybody looks amazing. So this was a nice party. You did good. Okay, so it's gonna get juicy. All right, so Ralph came to the party. He came alone. Drew wasn't there. He said she wasn't there because she had a family emergency. But then, like, if she had a family emergency, why you wasn't with the family? Like, if my boyfriend has a family emergency and I'm living with him, I'm not gonna go to a party. So this is giving, like, y'all have been separated. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is giving, whenever y'all decided to file for divorce, y'all have been apart. Like, that's what it's giving to me. But Ralph's there, Drew's not there. I guess we'll find out where she's at. Okay, so then Marlo, she comes and she's like, yeah, I'm gonna be good. She's trying to be good. She says she wants to avoid conflict which we know Marlo, that's not going to last long. But nonetheless, she says that she's trying to avoid any issues that she has with, she has issues obviously with Kenya and Candy. So she wants to be good tonight. That's what she says. Okay, so then, all right. People are arriving. Sheree and her friend, Sheree gets there. We'll get to that in a second. But Courtney comes, which, she's new to the show, but she comes. Sonya had invited her when they were talking, so she gets there. And then Martell and Sheree come in looking fine. You already know Martell gonna be suited and booted at all times. He stays with a tux on. So he comes, they look great, and obviously everyone's looking around and they're like, oh damn. I don't think that obviously people expected her to bring him around, or people might not have known she was filming with him. So they get there looking good and everybody's really, really surprised, right? And so Kenya asks Sheree, so are y'all official? And so, Sheree and Martell are kind of like, well, we're dating. They won't use the official label, but they say they're dating, which is fine, whatever. And then Sheree's so shady. She's in her confessional. She's like, I'm going to need you, Kenya, to stop being so nosy. And I'm going to need you to put more of your time into making sure that Mark doesn't take all your money in y'all's divorce settlement. That was a bit of a low blow, Sheree. I mean, her asking that wasn't that big of a deal. So I thought that, the punishment of that shade didn't fit the crime, but it was kind of funny because, again, we pray that you can get out of this situation with Mark with minimal damage to your pockets. So I just, I thought that was funny. Okay. So then all the things go to hell from here. So we're back and forth between two scenes. We see Monyetta and Kenya, they're like, okay, Sheree, we got to talk to you. And then at the same time of that, Courtney pulls Candy to the side. And so we could start with Monyetta and Kenya. Monyetta's like, look, I just want to let you know that I know a girl that that supposedly is dating Martell. And so Sheree's kind of like, well, she ain't here now, so he's been in Atlanta the last few days and he's been at my house, so whatever. And then she's kind of like, oh, Sheree's like, Monyetta has a voice now, okay. Which I get it, because I'm assuming Monyetta and Sheree probably aren't that close for Monyetta to, be acting like she's trying to have Sheree's back. And then, first, before I get into Kenya, we'll talk about Courtney. So Courtney pulls Candy aside. And at first, Candy's like, oh, okay, how you doing? Candy, I don't think she's surprised probably that Courtney's there. And immediately, Courtney starts to say, hey, you're going around asking people about me. Why did you say this or whatever? And so Candy's kind of like, you could tell she's kind of taken off guard. And, she's like, well, I only said this. I was just asking about you, and I didn't make, say that, why are you telling people? I was just saying, like, I don't know you. And so Courtney blows it all out of proportion. She's like, well, why you do this and da-da-da-da-da and fussing or whatever. And so how Candy is, you can tell, Candy's usually calm, but, when somebody's in your face, I come from the, you get in my face, I'm probably going to steal on you. Because I'm not even going to give you the opportunity to, like, why is your hand and stuff in my face? Like, because I'm not going to do that to you. So keep your hands in your face and all of that. Don't come in my face with that. Let's have some personal space. I'm being respectful. So I would like you to do that as well. And so, she's doing all that, and then Sonya kind of intervenes like, oh, hold on, like, relax. And so then Courtney kind of apologizes, and then she's like, and yeah, I ain't thirsty or whatever. She said something like that. And so Candy's like, you're doing it again. Like, you just apologized, but you're doing it again. So Candy's like, back up. And the girl, they're just fussing. And so the girl told Candy, like, calm the fuck down or whatever. And Candy was like, Itch, are you serious? You know how Candy do it. She said, I'm about to headbutt this, which headbutt, who headbutts? Whatever, Candy. I'm not going to judge you, but headbutting is a little different. But whatever works when you're defending yourself. So that happens. So obviously you can tell that her and Courtney are off on a very bad start. So I guess we'll see how that goes. But yeah, they got into it bad and it was real juicy. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, going back to Kenya. And so Kenya tells Sheree, like, look, he slid in my DMs. She tells Sheree Martell was in my DM. So of course, Sheree's like, well, let me see the DM. And so in the midst of that, like, I don't remember if Kenya actually showed her the DM, but Sheree was like, Martell, come on. Which is like, for those of you who don't know, Martell has never shied away from an argument, and he doesn't do well in situations like that. So we see from the preview, kind of the episode cut off right when like Martell was walking over, and I'm assuming that he's gonna flip out on Kenya because that's what Martell does. He doesn't discriminate men and women. If he's gonna fuss at you and he's gonna probably cuss you out, and that's what he does. We've seen it with him and Marceau. We've seen it with him and his wife. I'm talking about Love and Marriage Huntsville now. We've seen Martell flip out on pretty much everybody on the cast with the exception of Kimmy, because Kimmy's just everything. And so, yeah, I think the next episode 2, is going to pick up with, whatever is the residual effects of what happened between Kenya and Martell. So, whew, this was one hell of a first episode. This is, I think, going to be a really good season. I mean, it looked like Candy's activated. Martell stays activated, which in turn is probably going to make Sheree be activated. We already know Kenya and Marlo stay activated. We got the stuff with Ralph and Drew. Woo! And then Sonya be getting in the mix. And then Courtney. Oh my God. Like, it's a lot going on. But I think that the mixing bowl of everyone, their personalities, and all of the issues is going to make a good season. So I am excited. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode and my review. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And then I will be here next week or next Monday with the review of episode 2. I hope you guys have a very blessed and productive week. And I will see you guys soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.